Dr. Emma Gray and I'm the lead clinical psychologist at the British CBT Counselling Service, and in this video I'm going to describe 4 techniques to help you to cope with depression. Now by 2020 it's estimated that depression will be the second most disabling condition in the whole world after heart disease, but there are a lot of effective strategies for dealing with it, and I'm going to show you 4 of the best. Okay, so the first one is something called activity scheduling, and very simply it is trying to fill your day with routines and tasks that give you a sense of pleasure and of achievement, and the research has shown that this very simple strategy really does lift your mood. Now when I say simple, I don't mean straightforward, because when you feel depressed our natural inclination is to withdraw and not do anything. So doing stuff is actually very hard. So what you need to do is write a list of all of the things that you maybe used to do that gave you a sense of pleasure and a sense of achievement, and rank them in order of how much effort and time you need to put into them, and then start from the bottom and work up. So from the easiest up to the hardest, trying to do at least one of these things a day. And if you do this consistently over a couple of weeks, you will notice that your mood begins to lift. Okay, so the second strategy is to identify something called thinking filters. So when we're depressed, our thinking kind of falls into certain patterns that psychologists refer to as thinking filters. You might also hear them referred to as thinking errors. So a thinking filter is where our mind filters out all of the information that would make us feel better and highlights all of the information that has a tendency to make us feel worse. So examples of this include something called all or nothing thinking. So here our thinking is very black and white. So for example, if things aren't perfect, it's a failure. There's nothing in between. Another example is something called mental filtering. So this is where we pick out a negative detail and dwell on it exclusively. It's like a drop of ink into a beaker of water where that ink discolours the whole water. Okay, another example is something called mind reading. So this is where, without checking out what's actually happening, we conclude that someone is responding to us negatively. Another common one is something called fortune telling. So this is where we just predict that bad things are going to happen. There's quite a few of these thinking filters, so I've put the others in the description. But what you need to do is identify the ones that you are using and then try and pull back in all of the information that is being filtered out, all of the information that can help you to feel a little bit better. And again, if you do this consistently over a few weeks, you will notice that your mood begins to lift. The third technique is to identify your self-critical voice. Now, more often than not, depression is the result of a very self-critical internal voice. So this is a train of thought where you heavily criticise yourself, you compare yourself negatively to other people, you predict that you're going to be disliked or rejected, you predict that you're going to fail at all sorts of things, and you label yourself or you call yourself names. So you're inadequate, you're defective, you're rubbish, you're not good enough. Try and identify this train of thought. Get hold of it and write it down. And then assess its accuracy by looking at the evidence that supports the thought and the evidence that stands against this thought. And then use that information to develop an alternative, more accurate thought. And write these thoughts down and regularly review them. And again, over time, if you do this consistently, your mood will start to lift. Okay, the fourth step is to keep a positive log, a daily positive log. And this will act as a kind of antidote to that very self-critical internal voice. It will draw your attention away from your perceived inadequacies and towards some of your strengths. So maybe at the end of the day, keep a notepad by your bed and just go through all of the things you've managed to do. And some days it might just be that you managed to get out of bed and get something done despite feeling like you really didn't want to. And as with all the other techniques, do this consistently every day for a number of weeks, and you will notice that your mood starts to lift. Okay, so that's the end of this video. I hope it was helpful. If it was, please like, subscribe and share with your friends. I'll see you soon.